been really curious to see how the HTVRont phone case heat press actually works, and today I'm trying it out for the very first time. I'll walk you through the whole process, starting over in the LOKLik IdeaStudio, printing onto the sublimation film, and finally pressing it onto an iPhone 16 case. HTVRont did send me the phone cases that I'll be using today, but as always, all opinions are my own. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to turn out, but if you've been wondering whether this press is worth it for your own projects, come along with me and we'll find out together. Hey everyone, it's Lean from ColoradoLean.com. Welcome back to the craft room. Now that we're in the LOKLik IdeaStudio software, let's go over to the right-hand side of the page and we will select our device. We're going to be working with the HTVRont phone case heat press. And now you'll see a few options that we can choose from. Either iPhone, Samsung, two variety of phone cases I have never heard of, and I don't want to butcher the name, and then our flat substrates. Today I'm going to be sublimating an iPhone 16 case, so I will choose that. On the screen, you'll see a red outline, which is the back of our phone case, as well as where the camera is. And then there is a green dashed line, which indicates the edges of our phone case. If you don't already have an image that you want to use on your phone, you can come up to the Library tab. And under Images, if you come to the operation type, you can choose phone case. And there are already a number of images that you can choose from. So feel free to scroll through here. I am going to go back to my canvas because I do have an image already prepared. So I will come to the Upload button. And today I am going to make a Halloween phone case. So I will open that. And this window is telling me that my image exceeds the canvas space and they're wanting to shrink it down for me. So I will say, okay. And as you can see, my image is still much larger than what I need for the phone case. And because this is a very busy pattern, I am going to kind of hold this off to the side so I can see what I'm doing as I shrink it down. And I think I want to make this just a little bit larger than my green dashed line. I want to make sure if I don't get the sublimation film correct, that there's going to be enough image to wrap around the side. And now I'm going to locate this red line, which is again the back of the phone, and line up the portion that I want. Okay, I think that is going to be perfect. It gives me a little bit of space on both sides, although I might make it just a little bit bigger. Okay, I think that is going to be perfect. Now to print this image, I will come up to File and Print. This window is making sure that you mirror your image. I don't need to worry about that, number one, because I have no text on my image, and number two, because I'm using the Epson SureColor F170 sublimation printer that automatically mirrors all of my images. So I'm just going to click print. And now we have our print set up. So I will come here, choose my Sublimation printer, and it automatically chooses the A4 size paper, which is what I have. The source is my paper cassette. It will print in portrait. And then I'm going to hit properties. Now, this is something that I do all the time, no matter which printer, or I'm sorry, no matter which program I'm using. I want to make sure that I am printing on a rigid surface and my print quality is set to high. And then I will come up to more options and I will turn off bidirectional printing. And then I will print OK. Now, before I print this image, let's go ahead and head back over to the craft desk and talk a little bit about our sublimation film. Now that our image is ready to print, let's go ahead and take a look at the HTVRont sublimation film. It does come in a sealed package, and this does have a Ziploc type closure on it. So we'll go ahead and open this up. Now I did wash my hands, and I also used a little bit of alcohol on them just to make sure I don't have any grease or excess moisture on my hands. They do recommend storing your unused sheets back in this protective envelope. So I'm going to tuck this in here and put it away. Our film it's actually pretty thick. I think you can hear that. Little speck of something on there. And there are two sides to this. There is the matte side, which you can see there, and the shiny side. Our image is going to be printed on the matte side of the film. So in my Epson SureColor F170 sublimation printer, I will be putting this in with the matte side down. Now I'm not 100% sure if my printer is going to be able to pick it up and roll it through, since it is a bottom feed printer only. So I am going to give it a try, but I do have a piece of copy paper and some frog tape just in case I need to tape a piece of paper to it to give it the extra thickness that it needs to go through the printer. So without further ado, I am going to put this in matte side down, and I will run it through my Epson F170 sublimation printer. If it prints on the first time, fantastic. We'll be back and start working on the phone case heat press. If not, I'll come back and let you know. Fantastic news, everyone. It printed just fine. All right, I'm going to set this aside for a minute and we will continue on. With your phone case heat press, you received this piece of paper with QR codes to scan. You will definitely want to scan this first one, and that will take you to the instruction manual for the HTVRont heat press, for the phone case heat press, pardon me. And I just enlarged it a little bit for my old eyes. So let's take a quick look at what we have here. So we have our power button, and you'll notice right now that it is flashing white. That just means that there is power to the machine. It is not turned on, but there is power connected. And then, of course, we have our temperature button, our time button, plus and minus to increase time and temperature. And then we have our start button with the HTVRont, our logo on there. In the instruction manual, you will see a table which has your substrate, your material, the tool to use, and then the upper heat plate temperature, the lower heat plate temperature, the preheat time, and the transfer time. Now, I did rework this again, so it was a little bit larger for my old eyes. There will also be another column over here, but that just tells you that for every substrate you use, it is a hot peel. So as soon as you lift the lid, then you will take the film off of your item. So let's go ahead and turn this on. And we will hit the temperature button once, and it is now yellow. And this will set our upper heat plate temperature. And if you wait too long, it turns off. For the phone case heat press, our upper and lower plate will be at 275 degrees. So I will go ahead and hit it once and set the temperature to, come on, 285 degrees. No, 275 degrees. 275 degrees. Okay. And then I will hit this again. And I will, okay, hang on. Okay. I wrote these wrong. So press it once, and we have the 275 for the upper plate. Press it again, and then we will set this to 275 degrees for the lower plate. And then we will hit the time button. It will turn yellow. And we will set the preheat time, which is anywhere from 2 to 10 seconds. And I'm going to choose 5 seconds. And then I will hit it again. And it is the transfer time, which is anywhere from 300 to 350 seconds. So I'm going to leave that at 300 seconds. And what this is showing us now is that once it starts, it will go for 305 seconds total time. So that is the 5-second preheat and the 300 seconds to transfer the film. All right, now I am going to put my foam plate fixture in. And I do need these 2 small pieces. And I'm also going to get a pair of tweezers. So I will put that in the machine. And then I will line these up in here as well. And these are for the iPhone 16. You will want to check your directions to see what you need. I'm also going to need the i9 lens pad. But for now, let's go ahead and close this. So this did not take long at all to heat up to 275 degrees. All right, let's go ahead and set our i9 into our case. And then I'm just going to tape that into place. Now I might put another piece on there. Okay, that will hold that in place just fine. So I am a little bit confused by this. Of course, new machines, new way to do things. The directions in the manual that you will download tell you to power up the machine, set the time and temperature, put the phone case fixture in, close the upper heat plate for preheating for a minimum of 5 minutes. Then it tells you to put the lens pad in and secure it, and then place it onto the fixture before moving forward. Then it tells you to print the film, and after the green light has been on for 10 minutes, then lay the film on top of the lid for 5 minutes to help it dry a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is clean my phone case. And I am using 91% isopropyl alcohol and a lint-free rag. I know this looks dirty, but it is fresh out of the laundry. And now it says to go ahead and put it on the fixture. So let's put on some heat-resistant gloves. In all honesty, I was a little concerned about getting this onto the fixture quickly and correctly. So I did practice beforehand. So I am going to squeeze that down. And then put that on there. Oh, okay, that did not work. All right, I am going to just take these out. I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. So let's try this again. I'm going to squeeze it closed. I'm going to hook it on this end. Get my glove out of there. Okay. And then close it. And it hasn't been going for 10 minutes, but I will go ahead and set my image on top with the matte side up. And we will let this go for about 5 minutes. And I will be back with you. It has been about 5 minutes, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I can tell you that the top of this is getting warm. Not hot, but nice and warm. What we're going to do is we're going to open our lid, turn our design upside down so that the matte side is down and the shiny side is up. And we are going to center this onto the base of our phone case heat press. We want to make sure that it is all the way around the silicone on the outside so that the vacuum can work. So as nervous as I am to try this first one, let's just go ahead and jump right in. So I'm going to, again, open the lid, center the sheet on there, close it. Then the directions say to wait until it gets back up to 275 degrees if it drops below that, and then hit the R button. So let's give it a shot. Okay, it did not drop at all. So I will turn it on and let it go. Now this isn't very loud at all. If you have like a food saver machine, that's what it sounds like. So it is removing the air. It is shrinking the plastic, and it is sublimating onto our phone case. So I will meet you back here in 270 seconds. All right, we are back at 28 seconds. There really is no smell to this. I know for a lot of sublimation projects that I work with, the smell can be nasty. But with the lid down, I don't smell anything. And again, this is purring like a kitten. All right, 1 second. Let's go ahead and lift it. And need a hot peel. Oh my goodness. That is so cool. Okay, now comes the hard part. Getting it. Okay. And then, come on. We'll take that off. And oh my goodness. That is amazing. I absolutely love this. Wow, that worked like a charm. The color is bright. I love the spider web. I love how it molded around the camera. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Okay, so to turn this off, you just need a quick press on that. Yeah, this is, oh, this is so cool. All right, well, I'm going to let this cool down and then we'll be right back and we'll talk about what happened and how this turned out. I'll be completely honest with you. I was a little nervous to try out the HTVRont phone case heat press for the first time. The heating process is a bit confusing at first since it takes a while before placing the image, but now I know I can adjust my workflow by letting the press heat up while I'm printing my image. Another thing I learned is that I don't need to make such a large image. Today I wasted quite a bit of ink and most of the design never even made it onto the phone case. I'll try and get a close-up photo in here that will show exactly where the phone case ended and the waist began. Definitely something I'm going to tweak for the next time. The press itself actually surprised me quite a bit. It came up to temperature really quickly, and it's not that loud at all. At first, it did remind me of a food saver machine. Then it settled into more of a steady purr. I also didn't notice any unusual odors, which can sometimes happen when sublimating projects. Now, that might change depending on the blanks that you're using. I know I fumbled quite a bit through the directions, but that's just the reality of trying something new. The more I use this press, the more natural it'll feel, and hopefully sharing my first time mistakes will help make your first time even easier. Now let's take a look at this finished case. The image transferred edge to edge. The colors are bright and bold, and I think it turned out really fun. Now, the case is fairly basic, and it does feel a little slippery, so just keep that in mind when you're using it. Thank you so much for joining me today as I tried out the new HTVRont phone case heat press for the very first time. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a crafty friend, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. In the next video, I'll be trying out a few different sublimation blanks, so stay tuned for that. Happy crafting!